Yeah. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another scene set in Living World of Darkness, arrayed across New York. I'm Penny for Werewolf. Today, we set the scene within Zelda's gardens that she has cultivated upon the sept. Jacob not actually having heard about these gardens from his packmate herself, or at least if he has forgotten it, like the terrible, terrible guy that he is.
Um, Tina is actually there in the gardens. It's earlier in the morning. She's going around checking on the plants, pulling, a couple of bugs off here and there. There is a steaming mug of coffee in her free hand, and she's just kind of wandering through, taking her time. She's still actually dressed in very casual clothes, very loose sweatpants, tank top. She looks like she might have just rolled out of bed and grabbed the closest thing to her. Um, at one point, though, she finally does settle down on the outskirts of the garden, crosses her legs, and just kind of sips her coffee and looks out across things. She seems very serene in this area.
Jacob, on the other hand, looks somewhat out of place, given that he is wearing his uniform. So, uh, the sort of black and blue of his uniform sort of contrasts the bright colors and the greenery of the garden itself.
Tina will she'll kind of, as she's looking across the garden, she'll catch sight of him, and her face will immediately fall into a frown. Her grip tightens around the coffee mug as she looks at him and goes, "I'm not doing anything wrong, officer."
Jacob Jacob looks over at Tina. Um, a bit surprised that he was called out like that. Um, looks briefly confused for a moment. Um, and then you just see him sniff. Just once. Almost as if he has a cold. But when he does it, he seems to have a look of recognition on his face. He'll just walk up to you and say, "Never said you were doing anything."
She, like, almost unconsciously leans backwards in her sitting position, like, away from him, and there's this look of deep mistrust on her face. She doesn't really say anything. She's just looking up at him from where she's sitting on the ground, like, and after a long silence, she finally does speak. She goes, "No, but I'm sure you're going to find something that I am doing wrong so you can tell me to leave."
I mean, I feel like it would be a pretty poor idea to force a garu from their garden.
And in that moment, there's a look of recognition that dawns across her face. And she sits back forward. "Oh. Oh, okay. Okay. Dude, why are you dressed like a cop?"
Because I am a cop.
Oh.
I'm a police captain. I run the precinct up around the Upper East Side.
Oh. Huh.
And don't sound too enthusiastic. You must be one of the new ones, right? I haven't seen you around here before.
No. Yeah. You haven't. See, that's why I thought you were a cop.
Well, I mean, in many ways, I still am a cop, but it's kind of Actually,
Uh,
yeah. From your perspective, I'm a cop. I guess I should go through the formality. Jacob Clay, Afro Silverfang, Hamed Philodox. So cop in every sense of the word.
uh, I'm gathering that, man, you just are cut from the mold, aren't you? Um, my name is Tina, by the way. I'm a Ragabash. I don't have a tribe yet.
Oh damn, we're like opposites.
Well, I mean, yeah, you're. I don't know if I should say your people because, I mean, when you talk about it now, it's like you're talking about somebody's tribe. But if I were, still on the streets, I'd be like, your people, like, try to find me in parks and kick me off of benches when I'm just trying to take a nap.
I mean, my people are from Russia, and I'm pretty sure my family's been in America for like a century or something. So it's not really, I don't really define tribal boundaries like that.
Well, I meant more your brothers in blue.
Oh, well, some of them are assholes, yeah.
She still like looks really wary and kind of uncomfortable. Like you can tell that she has had some really difficult interactions with police in the past and she's trying to figure out exactly how she's supposed to relax and talk to this guy.
Yeah. Jacob, for his part, appears relaxed or ambivalent. He either hasn't registered this is how Tina is reacting, or he is hiding it. Um,
I'm a P and E.
sure. He's not necessarily hiding his reactions, so he won't roll against you. And to be fair, he's not actually that good at lying. He relies on pure breed to kind of carry his sorry ass in that respect.
What do I have? I got one success.
On success, maybe get the impression that he's sort of dealt with this before. This isn't, perhaps he's relaxed because he's used to the reaction.
Right. Um, so she's actually going to kind of rub the back of her head, um, take a sip of her coffee, look up at him, and go, I really don't mean to be rude. It's just um, being homeless for a while kind of puts you at odds with the system, if you catch my drift.
No, I understand. At least as at least insofar as the system tends to be unfriendly to those at the bottom.
She has this look on her face like it's apprehension, but it's also slightly tinged with maybe admiration. Like she looks at him and she says, so you actually realize that some of us are persecuted just by the fact that we were less fortunate than other people.
In a nutshell, it's as someone who's bore witness to it multiple times. It is I found too many individuals less in my precinct that I'm quite proud to say. But far too many individuals are just looking for a means to wield power or enforce the system without considering the implications of what that or considering what that actually means. Enforcing the letter or something without considering the spirit of it. I try to
Right.
do the latter. Obviously, in my position, obviously, I can't change the system more than I enforce the system, but I'm working on it. It's a process.
Everybody can make changes. Everybody.
Yeah. I can't change the law. I can't change how it's enforced, at least within my particular spectrum of power. I'd like to think I've done a fairly good job of that.
Well, like you were saying, it's not so much in your precinct that people are, shitbirds. And I would attribute that to the fact that, like you said, you're a police captain, so you've got run over who is and isn't part of your precinct, right?
Yeah, I try to weed those attitudes out of new recruits wherever I can. It's more of a how to put it. It's something that requires constant vigilance. This is something that is sort of how to put it. It is because of the way the system works. It is something that I wouldn't say is verbally encouraged, but it is sort of via the quirks of the system is sort of subtly encouraged a lot of the time without people even realizing they're being encouraged to do it or even realizing what they're doing. Sometimes they just need to slap around the back of their head to say, "What the fuck, man? Why are you doing this?" Obviously, much more formal than that, but
she she pauses for a few seconds. She's like, "You must exercise great restraint if you're out here slapping humans in the back of the head."
oh, it is. I guess you could say that is
How do you
probably the
not
one
make
thing I
them? How do you not make them nervous as hell, man? Or
do.
I was about to say, or do you, and you use that to your advantage?
I do. I sometimes use it to my advantage, although more often than not, it is an obstacle. When all of your problem, here's the problem: when fear is your solution to every situation, all of your problems start screaming. So I try not to use fear where I can. Rather, I use the nervousness that people have around me against people who get into trouble and, well, do the things that I feel that you have come across present so much. Then I show them why they do feel so nervous around me. But outside of that, I try to come across as pleasant or comfortable to be around.
Well, I
It's
mean,
it's more
you're
effective for conflict resolution 99% of the time.
yeah, I mean, you're doing a pretty good job right now. I won't lie. I was definitely, waiting to get the nightstick because I didn't move fast enough to get the hell out of here. But, I think this is uh this is all right. I think you're all right. Um
To be fair, you cannot. Rather, it is not that you cannot. It's rather that my rage does not impact you in the same way it does mortals.
that's true.
I have to work I have to work extremely hard to avoid less than ideal situations sometimes because of it.
Right.
At least I did. I spend less time out on the road now.
So she kind of pauses at that point and kind of rubs her chin a little bit and says, "So you said you're a Athro. That's You're pretty high up there, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, was I supposed to like do the neck thing? I'm sorry,
Hey,
I'm
there you
still
go.
learning.
You found it out for yourself. Uh, yeah, no, I still expect that. As a matter of formality, I don't make people do it every time they see me, but I do expect it first time round.
Oh, okay.
I have dealt with people who thought they could get away with shit, and then use an excuse to start fucking around with me, and so I have a policy.
Yeah, and she'll tilt her head to the side and bare her neck. She's like, I'm still learning, man. Please don't hurt me.
Well, one, fortunately for you, that's not my job, and two, it's fine. You figured it out. I don't. I try not to use the stick unless it is strictly called for, and you'll know when I get out the stick. But you don't have to worry about something like that.
All right, cool. As long as we're cool, like,
Yeah, that's fine. You'll know when I get out the stick because I get out a painted rock and start throwing it at you, or
a
also,
painted rock. Why are you gonna throw a painted rock at me?
well, that's I call it scorn cricket. Or scorn base. I know he won't call it scorn cricket because he's American. He'll say scorn baseball. You ever heard of a stoner scorn?
As what?
Okay, it's a punishment, right? One of the more common ones. Basically, everybody gathers around, and talks to the stone about how much of a shit person you are, and paints it. Sometimes with their blood. The throwing it at you is sort of a personal innovation. Learned from my former Fenrir den father. That shit hurt.
Okay, so does it normally involve throwing rocks at people?
Sometimes, not always. It sort of depends on how badly you fucked up. If I feel like you've really fucked up, I might throw it at you. Most of the time, I won't. If I'm really angry, I might. And to be fair, you're a Garu who regenerated within seconds.
Look, man, I'm still wrapping my head around that. Okay, like that's like I've done it and I've seen it done, but I still feel like if somebody were to throw a rock at me and hit me in the head, that I'd be brained and that would be it. Like, she just stops right there and takes a long drink of her coffee.
A Homid form, you might be. I assume you're a Homid?
Uh,
Not many lupus around here.
does that means that I was born a human, right?
Homid means you're born a human, and I assume you're not Metis, because otherwise you would know how this would work.
Yeah, no. That's what Missy and Clay are, right?
Yeah. They're in a complicated situation. Sort of a shame. Although we don't do the whole meta bashing thing here, really.
Her eyebrows kind of come together a little bit at that, and she tilts her head, like she looks questioning. It's almost as if she hasn't realized yet that they're supposed to be treated any differently.
In any case, you're in a pretty good sept for newbies, to be honest. Things are more open-minded here. More, dare I say, progressive. A lot of septs are the complete opposite of this. They're also generally outside cities, so I guess we've had to adapt.
She kind of eyes him up and down for a second. You know, hearing the word progressive come out of a cop's mouth is really strange.
Come on, it's not all that black and white.
You guys install spikes to keep me from sleeping under awnings. Come on.
Okay, well, for some of us it is. For some of us it is not, though.
She kind of sighs and puts the the mug on the ground and rubs her temples for a second. She's looking down at the ground. She closes her eyes and she's like, "Look, I understand my prejudices. I understand why I would lump you in with other people that I've had interactions with in the past. It's very difficult for me to look past that.
To be
So,
fair, you didn't almost frenzy on me the first time, like Dorian did the first time you met me.
no, but I can run real fast, and I thought about doing that."
That's fair.
she kind of looks up and starts laughing. She's like, "Yeah, Havoc found out how fast I could run. I think he was surprised."
Mm. Jacob does take another sniff from the air. Does Tina have any pure breed on her?
She has 3 dots of Black Fury pure breed.
Hmm. You can tell when Jacob sniffs the air. This time it's more apparent. Um, he does. He does look at you. It's interesting, given your situation.
And
You
she
seem
she
well
looks at that
bred.
sniff. Huh?
I was just saying, your situation is quite strange, considering how, for lack of a better term, how well bred you are.
She kind of like takes even though she's sitting, it almost looks like she would have taken a step back when he said that. What?
Tina could probably actually smell the pretty strong pure breed on Jacob, because he has 3 dots of pure breed himself. It is noticeable.
And she does, but she doesn't quite know what to make of that yet. The concept of pure breed to her is still foreign. Even though people keep talking about it around her, it hasn't really been fully explained. But when he says that she's well bred, she kind of takes a step back and goes, well, couldn't tell you what my stock is like because never knew my parents. So
Hmm.
seems like I'm supposed to be an ass-kicking feminist, but I'm more of a listless hobo.
Jacob pauses as he seems to consider something for a moment when Tina says that. Well, this might be strange for a Silverfang to say, but I wouldn't define yourself by your blood relations.
She looks even more surprised at that comment. And for a second, you see her kind of, kind of lick her bottom lip as she's looking at him, like almost like she's trying to figure out exactly what the fuck. What?
Consider it a mantle or a legacy, or irrelevant if you like. I don't have that luxury. And to be honest, I never really would have made that choice anyway. But
Isn't
I wouldn't
like
define oneself by it. That's too linear for my tastes.
well, isn't being well bred kind of your tribe's shtick?
It is a facet of my tribe. It is not the totality of my tribe. Breeding is a part of it. And you
Okay.
will learn with the potency of your own blood, that there is a power to it. You'll find those around you more likely to defer to you or to respect your words simply by possessing it. But it does not carry a tribe on its own. It does not carry a Garu on its own.
So, I'm still trying to to figure that out because everybody keeps, saying that Black Fury purebred, but then they turn around and also tell me that, ultimately the tribe that I go into is my choice. So it's like, how does that work? That I'm destined, I guess, to be part of this one tribe, but I can shun that?
In theory, it is your choice, and to be fair, you're in a tribe where it genuinely will be. There are septs which are just entirely run by one tribe. Those that don't join either find another sept, or well, they either leave or they're made to. Your pure breed, your breeding is it is something to consider. It's not the only thing to consider. You are not destined to join the Black Furies. Maybe if you're a Silver Fang, that might be stated, but that is because of our culture and our totem. There is, well, there is actually an element of that with us, but if you wished, you could leave your family legacy behind and forge one all on your own. You have the freedom to make that choice, and I don't think anybody here is going to force you to join a particular tribe, although you may be encouraged to be a Black Fury.
She kind of throws her hands up a little bit and shakes her head and just looks at him and goes, "What family legacy, dude? What? I don't even have a family to claim a legacy to. I have no idea how I got here."
That's just because you don't know it yet.
Oh, what are we gonna go on a grand adventure to find my mom and dad?
You may not believe this, but I was like you when I became a Garo. I was what they call raised by Callow kinfolk, those who did not know what Garo were.
Oh, really?
Sometimes kinfolk leave, or amidst the millions of mortals, get separated from their Garo families. It happens. I've discovered part of my legacy. He will even and you actually see him from from his jacket. He pulls out what appears to be a silver, kind of looks like a silver gladius.
You'll see her
But less,
tense when his hand goes inside of his jacket.
yeah. It has odd symbols on it. It is clearly something mystical in nature.
She just kind of eyeballs it. What is that?
This comes from an old lineage that I now belong to. I retrieved it from a very old place about 2 years ago. I can't say any more than that. I'm oath bound, so that is all I can say on the matter.
And she kind of wiggles her fingers at him for a second and goes, "Ooh, you're sworn to secrecy."
You joke, but there's a very good chance that if I did speak of it, I would spontaneously combust in front of you.
I mean, that would be kind of cool to witness.
Yeah, but I would not enjoy it. That, and I don't like. Needless to say, I have no inclination of betraying my heritage, so he puts back the silver sword.
Look, and she kind of waves her finger around for a second and goes, that was a power play. That was a That was a look at this shiny thing that I can't tell you about. If I tell you, I'll have to kill you. That's rude.
No, it's one I couldn't. I mean, if I told you, I mean, I probably would, but that's I'd probably combust before that would happen. More importantly, I was trying to make the point. You probably have a heritage not too dissimilar to mine. Different
Oh,
tribe, but we are a nation comprised of stories, heroics, and atrocities, all in equal measure.
so does that mean I'm gonna get a cool looking knife too?
I've noted the Furies tend to favor archery and other forms of weaponry as opposed to claves.
She
Tends to
kind
be
of
the
rolls her
common.
eyes when he starts talking about archery. She's like, yeah, whatever. We have guns. We have guns.
oh, oh, oh! I don't think the Furies will like to hear that.
Well, you know what? I didn't grow up in some European country where you still, I don't know, compete in archery competition. We have guns. Guns kill people. That's, you can, you don't need, we have progressed past that level of technology.
True, but guns also possess the qualities of a weaver, and the furries, well, they are defenders of the wild. The weaver's inverse. It's opposite, really.
The the Weaver, that's those spider dudes on the other
Hmm.
side. The Umbra, right?
Lava spider, the pattern maker.
They didn't like it very much when I shook their web.
No, they are creatures of stasis. Didn't used to always be that way. The weaver's original purpose was to take the concepts and the formless creativity of the wild and form it into something tangible, to bind something coherent out of the wild's power, the wild's energies. But the weaver is not that anymore, and it can be, in fact, in many cases, is as dangerous as the worm.
She's just kind of nodding. Like you can tell that she's trying to wrap her head around it, but she's just, mm-hmm, yep, all right, mm-hmm. We have guns.
We do have guns. I have guns. I have lots of guns. But
You're a cop. Of course you have lots of guns.
true. But I do not use them all that often in pursuit of my duties. One, because frankly, this, and he pulls out the silver sword, is more effective.
Will you stop teasing me with that knife?
Oh, do you want it?
Oh. She pouts. Like there is a very like impetuous look on her face. Rude. I don't even know you, and you're already teasing me with the yes, I want it.
It's a sacred fucking treasure of my bloodline.
Well, how am I
I'm using it to
supposed to
make a
know?
point. I'm not waving it around like a toy to say, oh, aren't you jealous? I'm not that petty, Christ. I'm pretty sure the spirit inside would flay me for the consideration.
You keep pulling it out. Stop it.
Well, to make the point.
You
It's
just
fine.
teased me with it, and you know you did.
You may feel teased, but I'm trying to make an actual point to you. When you get to my level of station, you find that you have to consider things very carefully. So no, I can't just go waving this clay around and going, "Look at this, aren't I special?" Now, some sort of things would anyway, but
Well, see?
I consider
Exactly.
myself to have class in some respect, spirit that has bound itself into this object for my benefit. And any Fierge will tell you, will tell you that you should not treat fetishes as toys. They are not
You,
commodities.
I've kind of figured that out about your tribe. Y'all are some classy motherfuckers. Yelena always carries herself she's poised and she's always dressed to the nines. And yeah, y'all are something else. She bought me these shoes. Do you see my shoes? They're not ratty anymore.
He looks at the shoes. Huh. I do need to have a word with Yelena. I'll send her your thanks. But presentation matters. We
You
are
should have met
a
me like a week ago. You would have been like, "Who the fuck is this Bonar?"
maybe. I mean, I try not to typecast. I've met Bonors who are not like that. I've met plenty actually. Although it is strange, I have also met Bonors that go out of their way to present that image, and I don't really understand why. Maybe for the sake of being underestimated, but when you're the dominant power, it doesn't make much sense. At least here.
When people underestimate you, they tend to speak more freely around you. They don't think that you're paying attention. You kind of become invisible.
True, but we're on a bone sept. Why would I underestimate a bone on a bone sept? That sounds like an awful idea.
I have no idea. But she kind of pauses for a second. She's like, "Look, okay, the reason I'm making grabby hands at your stabby stab is because I like knives. Clay is making me some right now, and it's really pretty, and I like it. So it's nothing personal. It's just a pretty knife."
That's fair. I'd like to think it's well crafted.
Yeah, aren't those things like a status symbol?
Claves? Yeah, absolutely. It's another reason why Silverfangs have so many of them. Really, only the Shadowlords rival us in terms of their arsenal, coffers.
Same thing, I guess.
They're signs of power, not only because silver can cut through almost any defense a Garu can conjure, but they carry a spiritual significance. Carrying fetishes around is, in many ways, a minor status symbol if one is not a Fierge. But they are not. Again, as I said, they're not toys. They're sacred artifacts. But they're also symbols of nobility, of our duty, and
So
of
I take it
renown.
not everybody gets one.
No. Usually, if one possesses a clave, it's because it has been passed down through generations. So you are literally carrying a symbol of your lineage with you, or it is something you have earned through incredibly trying endeavors. I can tell you, my acquiring this clave was. It is a symbol of my own achievements as it is of my own lineage. It is not simple to acquire.
So I I have insulted you. I am sorry. Because I was. Okay, nope, I got it. Yep. I that is the symbol of your accomplishments, and me coveting it is rude and right. Yes.
Well, in many ways, it is meant to be coveted. If it
Well,
inspires you to engage in acts to acquire what to earn one of your own, then perhaps me displaying it to you has performed its job.
somehow I have the feeling that's not the point you were trying to make.
No, but well, I'm being nice.
This is you being nice? Oh no.
Well, have I been mean? Have I been cruel? I don't think I've. Am I that am I that difficult to approach?
No, okay, all right. Okay, so I she kind of puts her hands together and touches her nose with her hands, almost like she's praying, and then she points her hands at Jacob and goes, there's a spectrum. You know, it's not black, like you said before, it's not black and white. It's not nice or mean. It's just there's a gray area, and I'm still figuring out where in that gray area you fall. And if this is nice, cool. I don't want to piss you off.
Okay, let me make it clear right now. I'm probably one of the nicest people you meet on this set.
Oh, fuck me. I met Fire in the Hole yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
That's the other end of the spectrum.
Yep. I mean, there's worse. There's a lot
Uh,
worse.
Excuse me.
Oh, absolutely. I can think of several guys on this set who you don't want to piss off.
Can I have a list?
No, let me just write up a list of half a set for you.
Look, okay, if if I do end up pissing them off, I gotta make sure I do it in a way that they don't know it was me.
Yep, that's the Ragabash way. Don't get caught.
See?
Of course,
See?
my job, of course, is to catch you. So you're kind of fucked.
Oh, so that means I should watch you and how you catch other people, so that way I know your methods.
Well, now I know to keep an eye out for you.
She just grins really brightly.
Giving away your game like that seems unwise.
You don't know. You don't know me. You don't know nothing about me. Um,
You told me quite a bit about yourself, funnily enough.
she kind of sobers a little bit. Yes, surface level.
Mm-hmm.
You, if you make someone think that you've given them a lot, they don't look any deeper than that.
Jake, for some reason, that just causes Jacob to burst into an almost malicious laughter. It is slightly unsettling. Oh, old friend, you should ask around about me.
What are you going to dig deeper into my non-existent history?
If there's one thing this set knows me for, it's that I never stop digging.
Well, you know what? You let me know what turns up, because at that point you'll probably know more than I do. And you have the resources to do that. You know what? You go over to your precinct and you punch my name in your little computer there and you let me know what happens.
You think of me in an awfully straightforward fashion.
I,
That would be the first in probably a dozen steps.
well, that first step would again probably shed more light on me than I even know.
Hmm.
I don't even
Is
know
it
where I was
hard?
born, man.
No connections. You don't know where you were born?
No. I grew up in the Bronx in a group home. I don't know if I was born in New York or if I was born somewhere else. I have no idea. I was given
Hmm.
up when I was a baby.
Given up.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Ms. B told me that a lady showed up on the doorstep of the group home and said, I mean, she was young and she didn't know what to do with a baby and said, "Can you please do something with this kid?" And so Miss B took me in, and me and 25 other kids.
Miss who, sorry?
Miss B.
B? How do you spell
Mm-hmm.
that? Like, was that her actual name or?
Oh no, that's her nickname. Oh shit. It's been so long since I actually called her by her real name. I have to remember what a real name even is. Give me a minute. She kind of like tilts her head like she's trying to remember.
For whatever reasons, Jacob seems actually quite concerned now. He sort of, he's got his hand on his chin. He's sort of looking towards the ground. There are definitely wheels turning.
Baldini. Her last name was Baldini.
Hmm. What she ran? She was part of what? A childcare? She was part of a childcare system. Like what home in particular? What building?
It was I guess a foster home, like a group home. It's in the Bronx. It's over on Grand Concourse.
Hmm.
Close to it's in Fordham, but close to Poe Park.
Okay. Jacob actually gets out his phone. Um, it's pretty obvious that he's looking it up, just in response to what you said. Hmm. Did she know you all that well?
I mean, she raised me.
But you wound up on the streets, so something happened.
Well, yeah. I mean, you turn 18 and the state doesn't provide for you anymore. You get your pat on the head, you get your couple $100, your bus pass, the phone number to the local employment agency, and a cell phone, and the clothes you've amassed over the years, and good luck, kid.
Did you have any temporary place of residence prior to being homeless, or was it just
Just the foster home.
you just had nowhere else to go?
Yeah.
How old are you now, if I may ask?
Um, what month is this? June. I will be 21 in October.
Huh. Well, that
She
must have
kind of
been really.
pauses and squints her eyes at him for a second, goes, "Are you profiling me?"
He remains silent for a sec. He doesn't really seem super focused on you for a moment. Um, what's your full name?
Um, um, uh, I can, Tina Vecchio.
How do you spell that? Takes out a notepad.
Are you profiling me?
Profiling you for what?
I don't know, but I don't know my social security number.
That's not helpful. How do you
I,
spell Vecchio?
Victor Echo Charlie Charlie Hotel India Oscar.
better at that than me. Writes down your name. Just puts his notepad back in his pocket. Your situation concerns me quite greatly. If you were handed over to a foster home, either those who were your parents didn't know who or what you were, or the situation they're in was dire enough that they needed to make you disappear.
Oh,
Because putting
okay.
you into American's childcare system is a great way to do that.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, I didn't come with any papers, man. No matter how well bred I am, apparently.
Jacob looks at you for a moment. His sort of relaxed demeanor has faded, but he looks at you fairly seriously. Would you mind holding out your palm?
What are you, like a fortune teller too?
No, I need some of your blood.
What?
It's for a right.
That's very personal. I just met you.
The blood is required for the right. It'll help me trace who your parents are and if they're still active.
Active?
We have short lifespans. I am one of the very rare cases of two kinfolk producing a Garo. More often than not, there's a Garo and a kinfolk.
Okay.
If they're in the city and we'll need to bring them into the fold. They could be
Hey,
a lot of
whoa.
danger.
Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. She kind of throws her hands up and actually gets up from where she's sitting and starts to like take a couple of steps back, goes, "Hey, I got no interest in a family reunion, my dude. Like,
No, but the nation needs all the help it can get right now.
But okay. Um she kind of is like holding her hands out, like they're not like back by her shoulders anymore. They're more like up, like almost like she's trying to put space between herself and Jacob. She's like, dude, all right, I know that we went over, yeah, you're a guru and things are different and you do things differently, but you're still a cop and you're asking for my DNA.
I'm not putting your DNA on any fucking database.
How do I know that? I don't know you.
Guy, help me. I was going to perform what's called a rite of heritage. The rite of heritage.
Okay.
I can use it to identify certain truths about your past. Which
Are you
could
gonna
help us
like?
track down your parents, or could give you a better idea of who you are and where you come from. If one of your parents is a Garo, if they're not dead, which I regret to say is probably very likely.
She kind of shrugs at that.
If I can get their name from this right, then I can track them down.
Um. You're
I
not
could
gonna use
even
like your big scary knife and cut my hand open. Can I do it myself?
fine. I was going to use my big fancy knife, but
Yeah, but you said your big fancy knife will hurt a lot.
you're a Homid, right?
Yeah?
Actually, no, we already confirmed that. So let me tell you how silver works against Garu. You have what's called a breed form. It's the form you were born in. When you are in that form, silver is no different to you than if you were human. So let's say if you're born Homid, you were born human, close enough. You handle silver, that's fine. You can handle silver in Homid form. If you try and handle it when you're a lady wolf or an actual wolf, it's gonna sting real bad.
Jeez.
Probably kind of
Lady
like putting.
Wolf?
Oh, I mean, man wolf. I don't know. I feel like lady wolf is more accurate.
The word you're looking for is bitch.
Well, that's just insulting. But my point is that if you handle silver outside of your breed form, it's like putting corrosive acid to your skin. It will literally melt through your body. It's like putting hot knife to butter. But in your breed form, silver's no more dangerous to you than the regular Joe. Metis, unfortunately, are vulnerable to silver in every form because the war form is always vulnerable to silver. So they have no form in which they can handle silver in.
Okay.
But you can no. If I were to put my, in your words, big fancy knife up to the palm of your hand, it'd be no different than if you were to cut yourself with any other knife.
She kind of looks torn for a second, like she's kind of like shifting back and forth on her feet, like so you can hear her kind of muttering to herself a little bit. Well, if I let that means I get to touch the fancy knife. Get to touch the fancy knife.
If a spirit decides that it does want to cut through your flesh like hot butter, don't blame me.
No, it's a very nice knife. It's absolutely. She starts talking to his jacket. It's a very nice knife. Fancy is a good word. It's great.
It's closer to a short sword, but okay.
I am not educated on the types of, if it's sharp and pointy and it's stabby, it's a knife. All right, fine. She just kind of walks up to him and puts her hand out like, I swear to God, if I come up on like America's Most Wanted, don't say I didn't warn you.
Oh, I've got so many bigger fish to fry than you.
I don't know if that should be a compliment or an insult, but okay.
I'm currently waging a covert cold war within my own precinct, so yes.
Oh, well, that's very frank of you.
The influence of a Ronin.
Her eyes kind of open up a little bit, like she's heard that word before.
So you've heard the name Vasily?
I haven't heard that name, but I've seen the damage a Ronin can do.
Oh yeah. He will he sort of pulls on the collar of his shirt. So like you can sort of see like a part of his chest, and you see that there's definitely a smaller part of a very large scar that runs all the way down his collar, part way down his like the left side of his chest and his left arm.
Mm-hmm.
His hand isn't particularly scarred, but clearly like he has suffered either a large series of burns or one just massive explosion to the left side of his body.
Well, that seems to line up with what I've seen before.
That is the damage that that a Ronin can commit to when they're of sufficient power.
All right. Here. She just puts her hand out and goes, let's just do the thing. I guess be Maury and tell me who my daddy is.
All right. I'm actually just going to look up how this right works real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I did have it on the page and I've lost it. I feel bad. There you go. So he'll take your hand. He's quite gentle about it. He's not forceful. Slowly takes out his clave. And begins murmuring a long series of incantations in the mother tongue, which you can understand. And over the course of next few minutes, the blood that is shed will sort of pull within your hand, and then as the rite concludes, will dissolve into fine redness that quickly just becomes part of the air. I'm going to have Jacob roll. He's very good at this. Okay.
Damn, look at that dice pool.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that?
3 successes. So I will take those successes and I'll go ask the ST's questions. So you won't get the answers to them in this scene, unfortunately. Sad face.
Right.
But Jacob will Jacob looks at the pool of blood as if staring into a crystal ball.
Tina's just kind of watching him. She's got this look on her face, like she doesn't say it, but her face clearly goes, "Man, this is fucking weird."
Any blood that sort of drips off the hand just sort of stays where it is. It just sort of floats in the air before the rite ends and everything returns to how it was supposed to be.
Well, that was she's just kind of looking at her hand and like almost she's watching it knit back together. She's like, that's really fucking weird. Every time I meet somebody new, there's something weirder about you guys. What? Why? Okay.
There's a lot to our world.
She just kind of helplessly looks at Jacob and goes, I really don't need to know who they are. They never did anything for me.
This will come across as very arrogant considering I'm a complete stranger to you, but I'm not entirely certain of that yet.
All right. I mean, they weren't there. They didn't raise me. You know, it's nothing. Like, I don't understand what they could have possibly done for me.
I don't want to make any claims yet. They could have done nothing for you. I I'm going to have to check a few things. I'll keep you posted of the information I have. You may be right. This may be a pointless exercise. But well,
What are we gonna like? She kind of makes finger guns at him and goes, "What are we gonna send it off to the lab and wait for the results?"
I have already gleaned some insight into your heritage. I will just need to double check that with other individuals that are both Garu and not.
What do you mean not?
Well,
Who you giving my blood to, Ben?
I'm not giving your blood to anybody. I don't have your blood. Yeah, he actually doesn't have your blood anymore, to be fair. And I can't exactly hand this into forensics. He just says, holding up the clave.
What? Well, then who? You know what? It's probably better if I don't ask questions because that's above my pay grade.
The names of your parents may hold some degree of acclaim or recognition within the sept or outside of it. I'm fairly well connected within the country. Now, you're probably right. It's probably nothing. But if it's something, I have an obligation to pursue it.
Okay, but why?
If you were born to those who did not know, to those who do not know what the nation is, they need to be contacted so they can understand the truth of what you are and what they are. If you're not, which is more likely, there are a lot of questions as to why a kinfolk would be handed, particularly one of your blood, would be handed into childcare. A lot of Garu would consider that incredibly irresponsible at best.
She just kind of shrugs and throws her hands up for a second, goes, "Man, you seem way more interested in this than I've ever been. You know, you write them off after a while. You forget about it. You just take what you got, you know?"
In the nation, things aren't so simple, I'm afraid. The past tends to find you. I know this from experience.
Well, I guess, like you said, just let me know what comes of it, I guess.
I'll let you know what comes of it.
All right. Well, now that my day has gotten sufficiently weird, I'm going to go take a nap.
I told you I'd like to dig.
God. Heard.
If there's anything you need to know, feel free to come to me. I'm fairly experienced when it comes to the weirdness of the nation, so. And a lot of things people would not like me to know I know.
She just kind of purses her lips at him.
So there's that.
You probably know a lot of things that other people don't even care about knowing. Like who their parents are.
You're not wrong.
Okay. She leans down and picks up her coffee mug off the ground and she rolls her neck and looks up at the sky for a second and shakes her head. She suddenly looks very tired. I'm just. It was nice to meet you.
Sorry about complicating your day. It wasn't my intention.
It is what it is. There are no simple days anymore.
No. I really aren't. He says that with a sort of very mixed voice, as if it's as if he's used to it, but he's a little bit sad about it, like kind of like wistful.
Hmm.
Oh, actually, one other thing before you go.
Hmm.
This probably isn't all that relevant to you, but if you ever feel the need to challenge one of the other cubs, feel free to approach me.
Oh, like if somebody pisses me off and I don't just, you know, jump them behind the hotel?
Yeah, challenges are, well, it's our system for conflict resolution, so that's what I'm here for.
Systems within, systems without. You can never get away from the system. Okay. She'll kind of nod her head and tip a little, like, lazy two-fingered salute. I will see you around. Don't do anything weird with my blood.
Sarantina. Now I'm gonna wash this thing off.
Cool. And she'll kind of amble away in the direction of the Over Easy.
See ya. And yeah, we'll go to separate ways as Jacob sort of stares at the blood on the clave with a degree of concern as he sort of looks at Tina's back. And I think there as well will end our scene. Thank you, Claire, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. We'll see you all next time. Bye bye.